Hello and welcome to Open Boosters! Alright, we're just going to be talking today about Tempest. Tempest is one of the sets I did not really get to play as a tournament slash that kind of stuff, but I did have a party at one point when it came out. I just ran to the store and asked what was currently out, and they gave me 3 boxes of this, and I took it back, and we all got to play. But it wasn't really me joining back into the Magic the Gathering scene where you play constantly and do stuff. It was just a one-time kind of event. And then I opened all these. We opened all these up and brought them out. I figured we'd talk about some of the cards. Now, boxes of Tempest are like between $800 and $900 sealed. It's, you know, I want to get one for the show to open, but barring that, I figured I could at least just talk about some of the cards that are actually in the set because it is a really cool set and it has a lot of fun in it. All right, so that's what we're going to do. All right, let's have some fun. All right, here we go. We're going to be talking about Tempest, craziness of it all. All right, so we all probably familiar with, you know, Lotus Petal. Sacrifice it, gain a mana. That's great. Speeds up the deck, and we're all familiar with Reflecting Pool, where you can get a extra. You don't get extra, but you can add a mana type of something that you can already produce from your lands. And then you have Waste, which is kind of like Strip Mine, but not. It actually destroys just non-basic lands, but still cool for land destruction deck. And we all are familiar with the Soul Ring slash. It's an ancient tomb, but it does 2 damage to you, which is also really cool. And then in Tempest also, to speed up your decks, they have these medallions, and they just reduce the cost of the color of the spell that you're casting, and it's cheap to put on the board. It's 2, and it's actually a really good effect. But the best things about Tempest was the fact that it had cards inside the set that work well with each other. And like, for instance, let's just start with the cheap one, like this one. You can choose Flying for Strike, Trample, or Shadow. Target creature with this ability loses it until end of turn, and another target creature gains that ability until end of turn. So it's actually really, it's 2 to put on the board and 2 to just start swapping it around, and it works well with, like, if you want to give Shadow to the Shocker here, and then now the Shocker can actually get through. So you can pull it off another creature, put it on this, and it can get through and basically force them to do a Wheel of Fortune kind of thing, even if they didn't want to. And they throw their deck into their cards into the graveyard, which is fantastic, right? Because they also put in a card like the Coffin Queen. The Coffin Queen can grab one of their creatures and put it on your side of the board. As you can see here, for black and 2, put target creature card from any graveyard into play under your control. Remove that creature from the game if Coffin Queen becomes untapped, or if you lose control of Coffin Queen. So this is actually a really powerful card because you can actually start removing their cards from their graveyard as well, so they can't bring it back to the board. And so things like that was just, it's just a really cool set. Let's see. And then, you know, if you match it up with this one to use Coffin Queen, you can sacrifice a creature. Target player puts that number of cards equal to the power. You can read it. I mean, they're just throwing cards into their graveyard, but it's a 2 casting cost, and you can do this at any time. And that's a really kind of cool interaction. And let's see. We also have, I mean, it's a really powerful set, I have to admit. And we have Reanimate, which is just great because you can just you can just destroy yourself with life after throwing stuff to their graveyard, and then you can put it onto your battlefield and just lose life to get one of their big creatures onto your side of the board right off the bat for 1 black mana. That's just insane. This one, let's see, yeah. Well, this one's cool. Scroll Rack. You can just start filtering out through your own deck. 1 tap, choose any number of cards in your hand, set those aside, and then you can put them on the top of your library later in any order that you want them. But you can just cycle through your deck really quick. Scroll Rack is just fantastic for that. It's cheap. You put it on the board, and you can just cycle through your cards as fast as possible. And it's cool. You don't have to sacrifice this thing. It stays on the board. I mean, if you want to cycle 7, cycle 7. It's fine. I mean, it's great. So that's a great cycling card. And then this one is kind of fun. Because anything that steals creatures is always fun. But 2, sacrifice a creature, gain control of target creature as long as you control Helm of Possession, and Helm of Possession remains tapped. So you put it out there 2. You sacrifice one of your creatures and steal one of theirs, right? But if you have 2 of these on the board, right, you can then sacrifice the creature that's attached to this, and then sacrifice the creature that's attached to this, and just go back and forth. You only have to start with one of yours, and then you just start sacrificing this back and forth and stealing their creatures one by one. And it's kind of fun. You know, anytime you can sacrifice a creature is just fun. I love Helm of Possession because it's 4, which is basically the casting cost of control magic. But then you have the 2 tap, take their creature if you have to sacrifice one of yours, and then you can take your other one, sacrifice the creature you just took, tap, and then, you know, you get how it's supposed to work. I mean, it's really fun. And really annoying to your opponent. And then they also put this. This was just killer. Root Maze and Choke. It only costs 1 green to put this on the board. All artifacts and lands come into play tapped. And then islands do not untap during their controller's untap phase. This pretty much locks down islands. I mean, blue. It just completely shuts it down. And it's in one set. And so most people like to play blue because blue is really freaking powerful all the time, every day of the week. And they make this, which is really cheap to just throw on the board. And then this, which just kills blue all in one package. Because all their lands are going to come into play tapped if they're an island, and they're just done. And it's green both times, and it just destroys them. So 99% of the time when you go up against someone, they have blue in their deck. It's just that simple. And that's just an amazing thing to me. And it's hilarious. All right, so another one of my favorite cards was Booby Trap. Booby Trap was fantastic. So he comes into play. You name a card other than basic land, which is fantastic. And whenever a target opponent draws any cards, he or she reveals those cards to all players. So she has to flip it up. And then I will know exactly what's going in her hand. I mean, it costs 6, but if any of those cards is named cards, sacrifice Booby Trap and it deals 10 damage to that player. Which is fantastic because they also put in Time Ebb. And put target creature on top of owner's library. So if I put this out, name a creature that he has in play, and I throw this back out there and put that on top of his library, what's going to happen? He's going to get 10 damage. It's just that simple. It's crazy. And it's a lot of fun. And let's say they get rid of their creature, you know, they lightning bolt their own creature and it goes to their graveyard, where if you put this out, you can actually pull that out and put it back into play, send it back to his top of his library because you're going to cast this on it. I mean, I loved Booby Trap. Booby Trap, and then you copy Booby Trap. I mean, if you get someone that'll let you play with the old school cards and you use copy artifact, this ends the game really fast. It's hilarious. I love the Booby Trap card. Oh, so fun. Let's see. What else we got? I always like the elf card because, I mean, it makes all elves, you know, you can't target the spell's abilities. I mean, it just protects all the elves that you have in play, so your elves can stay out there for as long as they can. Let's see what else we got. All right, yeah. This one's fun too. You may play creature enchantments whenever you could play an instance. I mean, that in itself is fantastic. Whenever I could play an enchantment, any creature enchantment, like, do I have one here? This one, for instance. I can do this, and it's now a Howl from Beyond, right? But it's an instance, so it's an Howl from Beyond, and it stays out there on the creature itself. That's just great. You can't say it doesn't go away. So, fantastic. Let's see. This was a great card because I could just throw out all my lands, and now I'm gonna actually get only spells and cards that I actually need. Because if I know they're not playing with land destruction, that's what I want. Just filter it all out. We're done with that. No more mana screwed or getting too much mana. This is fun too, because if you're there, you have a whole bunch of creatures. Oh my gosh, their creatures are huge! And I just turn them in all into 1/1 creatures, and they lose their abilities. Hilarious, and I love the artwork on this. I mean, you can't say that's not fantastic, right? That is hilarious. I love it. This is more like an unhinged artwork as opposed to what it is, but I mean, the card makes sense, humility, and the card is perfect. You know? Oh. But, you know, it's a lot of fun. I mean, the set was great. Counterspell was kind of terrible, but, I mean, they reprinted a lot of cards, you know? And if you want to just make sure that nobody can attack you, you always have this. And you can, you know, they have to pay an additional 2. So, there you go. And then if you cast more, you cast more. But, I mean, it's just a lot of fun. I just really enjoyed playing with these cards, and these cards were fun. But then everybody went home, so I had to put them all away. As terrible as that sounds. But I do crack them out every once in a while and put them into something when someone's in town. And then this is kind of like Moat. If you use this with like, I think it's Sleight of Mind, where you can change it to any color. I mean, you can change it from black to blue, blue to red, whatever. And then it's kind of acts like a moat. I mean, it's fantastic. You know, just got to change the color. All right. So I never really made the slivers work with it, you know, because I just didn't try. But either way, it's a great set to play. I think they should revisit it. A lot of these aren't... a lot of these are reprintable, so they'll definitely probably go down in value as they reprint them. But, you know, I'm trying to filter through some of these. See if I can get to a few more. I never really got this one to be effective. I know people have used it. Skip your turn, draw 4 cards. I mean, I'd never ever want to skip my turn for anything. So, I don't know. 4 cards to skip a turn, it just didn't sound that good. And then remove all permanents from the game, discard your hand. Apocalypse, I don't know. I never got that one I never played with that one at that time. But it's something to think about. So I know this wasn't like, you know, fun or like, you know, surprising. Yeah, I know they had slivers in there, but I never played with them very much. There's another animator. But yeah, and there was a lot of reprints in this. You know, target creature becomes toughness, power 1. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I remember that. So, if you like this kind of video, or just kind of babble for a little bit about cards of any set, you know, hit the like button, subscribe, make a comment. I wanted to get something up today. I do not have a Tempest box to open. I'm trying to acquire it. I figured this is a way I can bring Tempest into the Openboosters videos, and so you can watch some stuff. I mean, there's a lot of Lotus Petals right there. Tons of them. Tons. I was actually going through the TCG player apps, scanning them and that kind of stuff. And even though I opened up 3 boxes, I have about like $700, $750 worth of cards total, which is just crazy because you would think there would be more since they're like $1,000 a box, almost like $800 to $1,000 a box. Craziness. Yeah, but maybe some of my friends took some of the cards and that kind of stuff, and I just don't remember them taking it. Because that happens. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And hit the like button, subscribe, make a comment. Hopefully I'll get another opening up real soon. I just figured maybe this will be enjoyable. All right. Talk to y'all later, guys.